it was, I think, essential for me. It's one of those moments that, kind of makes me believe in a God because clearly I was supposed to be there. It's all in God's plan, or God is in control. I didn't need to know what I thought, only what I was supposed to think. But pesky life experience puts cracks in the dam and questions come tumbling out. An adult you has to contend with all the unanswered questions and accept that some questions will never concretely be answered. 99.9% sure they're not looking to be converted to some religion or join an MLM or buy crypto. Even though I've been out of the church for 20 years, I did have 20 years in the church. I had concentrated indoctrination, and so I have an understanding of the source material. I understand its practical application within the communities that I was in. And while I may not know who Zephaniah is anymore, I do have a firm grasp of Calvinism versus Arminianism, the different tribulation theories, dispensationalism. I understand, I have this intellectual understanding, even if I don't have the spiritual faith. I can speak from my authoritative experience within the church, just like anybody who is currently in the church. It was pretty common in the 60s for these denominations and faiths that previously had not had a firm stance on the topics of marriage and abortion, but they came around and made changes. So you'll notice that translations of the Bible around the 50s, 60s start including the word homosexual. You will see that these statements of faith get altered somewhere between the 50s and the 70s to include a one man, one woman definition of marriage, etc. He has denied the Holocaust, called for execution of LGBT people in order to eradicate AIDS. The Endura was a purification ritual for the Cathars facing death. They would do a complete fast to separate themselves from the material world and work on a reunification in the spirit world with God. They include Zionism in their statement of faith, which is a pretty big departure from most other Baptist statements of faith that I looked at. They think that they're being nuanced, but really they're just further perpetuating the idea that people with mental health issues, specifically depression, just need to pray more, pray harder, and if they're not getting better, then they're just denying God's abundant gift of transformation. The children were told not to tell their parents about anything distressing because it would disrupt God's work, the work for the kingdom, with their small little problems. When questioned about the alleged abuse, the man said, "That was taken care of. I just don't want to get into it again." And it all spirals down until he focuses solely on work and she focuses on home, television, children, and gasp, work. Oh, the misery and suffering that has been wrought on the world by women entering the workplace. Courtship is two fathers agreeing to work with a qualified young man to win the daughter for marriage. Kind of sounds to me like somebody was dating somebody, got dumped, and felt entitled to a relationship with that person. And so therefore it is problematic that they asserted a boundary and decided to choose not to be with them anymore. I will await God's timing as indicated by my parents. Just in those 2 short years, 150 girls had their lives and their childhoods taken away from them. Once again, we see the pattern of unquestionable authority leading to mass abuse.